chit-chat to a minimum, keep it down to a low while people are performing. It's just polite. I'm looking at you. In fact, here's the thing. Normally when I perform, it's the billiards people who are the loudest. You guys are so polite. It's these knuckleheads who are being all loud.
Crazy doing.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for your patience. Once again, my name is Ruben RC, your host for this evening. Ruben, that's right. What up? How's everybody doing? Welcome to Ithaca's one and only stand-up comedy open mic. Did any of you guys check out the lovely Finger Lakes Comedy Festival that happened this last weekend? You did. A couple of you did. If you guys came out for that, you might have seen a friend and fellow comic of ours, Annie Mae. Yeah, so Annie Mae, great comic from this area, is now doing comedy in New York City. And I actually went down to visit her a couple of months back and hit some open mics with her. And if you've ever listened to her material, she's got a lot of stuff she talks about her being her Asian American experience and how these guys come up to her and ask her stupid questions like, "What kind of Asian are you?" and shit like that. And we went to this open mic in Brooklyn, in Queens. It was called the Creek in the Cave. And this Japanese dude gets up on stage and he starts talking about, "I hate it when I go out in my neighborhood and people come up to me and they ask me what kind of Asian I am." And the look on Annie's face, she just lit up and she was like, "Yes, kindred spirits, you get me, this is wonderful." And the guy goes on and says, "Yeah, I live in a very Chinese neighborhood and sometimes Chinese people will come out to me on the street and they'll be like, ching chong, bing bong, blah, 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 blah," and all this racist shit." I was like, oh my god. I've never seen Asian on Asian racism like live before. And the look on Annie's face went from kindred spirit to, "I'm glad they dropped the bomb on those guys." But yeah, Finger Lakes Comedy Festival, good stuff. If anybody came out to the last open mic 2 weeks ago, we messed with the format a little bit. We did like a debate team, split the comics up into two teams and had them debate. This time we're doing a very mom and pop, D to V, normal open mic, with one exception. We're choosing a headliner tonight. Jarrod Winters will be performing first and last. He'll be doing his first set sober and his last set really, really drunk. So, the name of this mic will be called Dr. Jarrod and Mr. Winters. Please give it up for your first comic, Jarrod Winters.
Hello. Hi. How's everyone doing? Cool. Well, as Ruben said, I'm doing 2 sets. Oh man, I thought someone was bowling. Anyway, I'm doing 2 sets tonight. One completely sober-ish right now. I've had a little. Anyway, the second one I'm going to get as drunk as I possibly can and then try and do the same jokes off memory or this book maybe. But it's going to be a lot of fun. You should all stick around and buy me drinks to support my terrible idea if you want. You know, if you see me and you want to get me a drink, that's fine. I won't tell you no, is all I'm getting at. But anyway, so I don't recognize a lot of people here right now, which is awesome, because I can recycle jokes, which is terrific. You know, it's like lying to a child. It's like, I can tell you anything and you're gonna just take it as truth. Like, why is the sky blue? 'Cause I fart purple. Oh, I guess that's fact. So, I have a lot of low goals when it comes to comedy. I really just want to look at my glass and then point to the bar and have it refilled as I'm telling jokes. And that's all I want to get to. Once I get to that point, I'll be like, I'm good, and then just get a real job or some shit. I don't know, changing old people's diapers or something, like something for real. That's what I do for a living. Anyway. My family's crazy, you know, which is cool. My mom especially. Like when I grew up, my mom was real crazy. I remember one time, there was this one time, right, where my mom tries to tell me to clean my room. And I'm a rebellious little, fucker. I'm like, no way. And she comes up to me and she's like, trying to get me to clean my room. And she says this one thing that I'll never forget. All right, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna clean my room. And she looks right at me and she's like, Mom! Oh man, you're so crazy. The family is crazy. I'll do an impression for you real quick. Do you guys want to see an impression? Yeah? All right, okay. Tell me if you can get it. You ready? You get it? I was my father. Because I wasn't there. Yeah. That's... Oh, man. But speaking of my father, movie remakes are a big thing now, right? I love movie remakes, and by love I mean hate. But they're great because I have an idea. That's the only reason they're great. It's because I have an idea for one. I have an idea for a movie remake. I want to remake the movie 300, but I want to cast 1973 Woody Allen as King Leonidas. Just for that one scene, you know the one where it's like, you can't do this, you can't kill the messenger, this is madness. Well, what do you mean this is madness? I mean, I invite you over here, I tell you to come on, you come all the way down, this is Sparta for crying out loud. I mean, come on, just get in the hole, get in the hole. God. Oh. So, I love pets and animals. I do. I love a lot of animals. I'm a vegetarian, and that's a real fact. That's not even a joke. 10 years. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Anyway, is it weird that my cat gives me sexy looks sometimes? I don't know. She has beautiful eyes. It feels right. I need to stop playing with my pets as much though. Not to connect that to the last joke, but I do. I need to stop playing with my pets as much just because I always like to play merry-go-round with my gerbil. But I really need to cut that out. Just because it's such a bitch to clean out the microwave. I wish that the questions to Jeopardy were written by the bitter ex-wives of the contestants on Jeopardy. Yes, Alex, I'll take keep your damn hands off me, you bastard, for 500. That was not developed that well. Anyway, I also but then imagine what an argument with Alex Trebek and his wife would be like. If he starts getting mad and he's like, oh, what's that on the board? A bitch? What is you? Thanks. Thanks for the So I had a girlfriend for a while, but then her and I broke up, but this joke was written before that. Anyway, so I had a sex dream the other night. I know. Me too. It was, I bet. But my sex dream was probably the most realistic sex dream that anyone has ever had. Alright? It basically just involved me begging and my girlfriend saying that tonight. Yeah, whatever, that joke's fucking adorable. But breakups do suck. I don't have a joke for that yet. I've been trying, but they do. I have a lot of good material on porn that it's not ready. It's not ready yet. I'll have it next time, I promise. But you know, I am trying to better myself though in a lot of ways. I've been applying to some new jobs. You know, do you think jobs like look at like security camera footage when they're trying to hire someone new? Because that would be terrible. I recently applied to a gas station that I've only ever visited when blackout drunk. But then I started thinking, maybe that's not such a bad thing. Because like, what are they gonna see? You know, they're gonna see me peeing out back or taking risks to accomplish goals. They're gonna see me arguing with myself whether or not I want to buy a pack of cigarettes. Or they're going to see me weighing the pros and cons of a specific situation in order to get a better outcome. You know, that's pretty fucking responsible. Who wouldn't want to hire that? They might see me paying for my next beer in all loose change found in my apartment. Or using simple math skills to accommodate crunchy economic situations. Crunchy wasn't the best word for that situation, but it fit. Fight me if it didn't. Anyway, what other jokes do I have? I did all the good ones. Okay, so I'm gonna close on a newer joke that I have. It's kind of a bit of a performance piece because I like to close on performance pieces. This is a slam poem that I have written. I've been listening to a lot of R&B lately. I love R&B. It's so good because it's so simple. You know, it's like just so touching. So this is a song or a slam poem that I wrote. Very influenced by R&B or rhythm and blues music, and I hope you guys enjoy it. My name is Jarrod Winters. Thank you.
I love you, Jerry. Woo! Jarrod!
Baby, oh baby, baby girl, oh God, baby, baby girl, baby, oh baby, girl, yes baby girl, please, oh God, yes, baby girl.
Keep it going for Dr. Jarrod, everybody. If you're looking forward to seeing Mr. Winters at the bottom of the show, I encourage you to buy this man alcohol. I, for one, I can't wait to see the de-evolution of that Woody Allen impression. I want to see that Woody Allen impression when you're hammered.
Oh my God! Yes. It's not good sober.
I didn't say it, he did. Jarrod Winters. Jarrod had a request. He was asking me, because I did a whole bunch of acid last weekend. Yeah. He was like, oh, I want to hear all about it. You gotta tell me that story. It's a boring story. So, instead, I'll tell you a story about the time I did acid at Grassroots. Yeah. Which happened to have been my very first time with acid, ever. And like, usually when you do drugs of any kind, whether they be prescription drugs or street drugs, somebody will feed you a line like, yeah, you'll feel the effects for like, 2 hours, and then you do it and it's more like 45 minutes or some shit like that. Or like NyQuil, and it's like, take one little shot of this stuff, and you're like, I weigh 200 pounds, I'll do 2 of these. So when you take acid, and they're like, this is what you're doing for the next 12 hours, they mean this is what you're doing for the next 12 hours. Also, acid, I think, is the only drug that is accurately depicted in movies. All these pot commercials with talking dogs, that shit doesn't happen. But on acid, I saw people's faces melting. So I took 2 hits of acid from someone I had met that day. And she was nice enough to sit on a large cooler with me while the stuff kicked in. And our conversation started out normal. And then about 20 minutes later, I was like rubbing my face on her, like my cat does to me. And at minute 30, I was like, I have to get back to my campsite, or I won't be able to find it. So I just am running through grassroots as the sun is setting, and it's pouring, because it fucking rains cats and dogs at every grassroots. And I finally make it back to our campsite, which is on site because I'm working with the tent crew chief. And I'm finally safe, or so I think. I'm freaking out at this point. Everything I can see is covered in like rainbow disco lights. Like there's a giant disco ball in the sky and it's covering everything, moving around. Never seen anything like it in my life. My buddy, who he's at the campsite with me, or rather he's staying at that campsite, he comes running through the rain as well. And he's got like hair down to here, he's shirtless, and he comes running up to the campsite, comes out of the rain, and his hair's just like all dripping down to here. And I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm looking at him, and he doesn't know that I've taken acid. And he comes up to me, and he knows that he looks like the cover of a shitty romance, like trashy romance novel, right? And he comes up to me, and he puts his hands right on my face, and I go, because I wasn't ready for all that. And everybody who knew I was on acid laughed their asses off. He was very offended that I didn't like him touching me. Then I won't go into the gross details, but I kind of flirted with madness and I needed Annie to come rescue me and bring me to my car so I could just sleep out of my car for the next couple hours. Jarrod, were you even listening? Fuck you. Moving on. You guys ready for your next comic? That's what I'd like to hear. Our next comic comes to you, to the stage, from offstage, and the name is Cameron Nelson. Give it up!
What's up, guys? I know I'm a little bit racially ambiguous in the face, so I'm just gonna clear that up. I'm half black and half Mexican. There's only like 20 of us in the United States. Growing up was very hard for me because like people don't really know like what I am just initially right off my face. Like my black friends all thought I was Mexican, my Mexican friends all thought I was black, and my white friends thought I was poor. So fucking sucked. I'm in college. Yeah, that's true, man. I'm in college right now and it fucking sucks. Just lectures, projects, presentations, just the worst. And like coming here, everyone's like, you know, college is the best 4 years of your life. It doesn't get any better than this. I'm like, this is the best. My life's gonna be fucking shitty. I'm just gonna be on the streets of Ithaca sucking dick for hand warmers and shit. Fucking terrible. And like, people don't know this. Stress causes cancer. I think we can all agree on that. Studies have proven it. And college causes stress. So, college causes cancer. Which, I don't know about you, I don't think we should be promoting college in our society. I go to Cornell. Fucking idiot, I don't know how the fuck I got in. Does anyone know what Alpha Phi Alpha is? Anyone here? You? Of course the black dude knows what it is. It's the black fraternity on campus. It's the black fraternity on campus. I have a lot of friends in the fraternity I'm thinking about joining. It was founded in Ithaca. The first black fraternity ever founded in the United States, the most famous one, founded in Ithaca in 1906, December 4th. And it was founded by 7 black people, and it was like, that was like a huge feat for them to do. To start a black fraternity in 1906 in Ithaca. You know how white that shit must have been? Ithaca, it's white now, but in 1906, Ithaca was white as fuck. I mean, like, that's like if like a couple of like people within the South were like, hey Cletus, I think we should start a chapter of the KKK. Where you want to start it? Compton. Like the equivalent. Oh, like I said, I was mixed race. When you're mixed, your white friends really want to test like your blackness. Like they're like, Cam, you're not black. You like, "Yeah, you don't really act like it." And I'm like, "Oh, so like I don't sag my jeans, speak in slang all the time, or just say the N-word all the time, so I'm not black." Like, well, yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's do this right now. Let's me and you go to Compton. We're gonna walk down the street. We're gonna see a group of black people. I'll walk with them. I'll say nigga, and then after I walk past, you go and you say nigga, and we'll see who walks out of the neighborhood. So my friend Alex actually did this. I said, "What's up?" Like, "Oh, what's up?" My nigga, this group of black people. "Oh, what's up?" Like, "Oh, what up, boy?" He's like, started walking. Then Alex is like, "Oh, what's up, nigga?" I haven't seen Alex since, and I don't have a lot of white friends do instances like that. I was reading a story the other day. This white guy got attacked by a tiger at the Bronx Zoo. White people, man. 2014. It was like, yeah, this is 2014. 2014. White people still getting attacked by tigers, man. I don't understand it. And like, I was reading the article, and like, in those situations, the media always blames the person or they blame the tiger. But they're honestly blaming the wrong people. They really should be blaming Frosted Flakes. Because white kids from about the age of 5 grew up eating that stuff, and every day they see it. And the subliminal message is that that tiger's smiling at them, and then they grow up, they think that tiger's their fucking friend. So they go out to the zoo and they get attacked. But you never see a black person get attacked by a tiger. Wanna know why? Because growing up, black people, we don't get the brand name cereals, do we? We don't get no goddamn mascot, and if we do, it's like some dinosaur with a fucking long ass snout, make no goddamn sense. That's all I got, guys. That's my time. Thank you. Where's Ruben? Ruben, get your ass out.
Good job. Thank you very much. All right, keep it going for Cameron Nelson. It's like a guy doesn't have enough time to get a drink around here. You know who else hasn't gotten any drinks bought for him is Mr. Winters over here. I know you guys want to see that shit show later. Did more people show up?
Oh, wait. I forgot to say this when I was on stage before. I apologize in advance to every comic I heckle tonight. But I'm gonna be drunk, so it's gonna happen. I do that shit sober.
I know we were heckle.
You can't heckle, and Jarrod, shut the fuck up. We're gonna have problems.
Just say it. Just tell me to shut up.
I just did. Starting now. Okay. You guys hear about this bill that tried to get passed into Congress where it was in, whatever, it's below the Mason-Dixon line. I don't give a shit. Where they were trying to pass this bill where if a woman wanted to get an abortion, she first had to get an ultrasound. Right? Do you remember this?
I'm trying to forget.
I'm trying to forget. Anyway, so they tried to vote on this, and this senator from like North Carolina or something, she passed this amendment, or she tacked on this amendment to the bill, where she was like, all right, guys, if you think a woman should get an ultrasound before she gets an abortion, then maybe you have to get a rectal exam before you get a Viagra prescription. How does that sound? And her proposal didn't pass, but it only failed like 17 to 19, right? It was really close. And most of the people voting on it were dudes. So the lesson here, ladies, is that guys like a little ass play. But they won't admit it. So just do it. Don't ask. I want you to look at everybody who's clapping and laughing. They know what's up. Okay, moving on. Our next comic, next funny dude. Are you guys ready? Keep that energy going for our next comic, Augusto. Keep it going. He's almost there.
Still clapping.
What does your hand say? It says bag. Bag.
That's better than what I thought it said.
All right, what, Ted? How we doing tonight? Woo! How you feeling? You guys having a good time so far?
Yeah!
Keep it going for the comics that performed so far. Come on, keep it going. One more round. Funny shit.
Hey,
Yeah, y'all feeling good tonight? Yeah? It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. I don't believe you. You're miserable. Look at you. It's like our fucking 105th day of snow. You're sucking down a $2 draft at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. You're miserable. You're fucking miserable, all of you. I'm not feeling good just because I'm up here on stage telling you that you're feeling good. I'm really good. All right, hold on, guys. All right, I apologize. I'm sorry. You know, like that's like a lot of negativity that I'm bringing to like the energy, the set. It's because lately I've been having a lot of like relationship problems. Yeah, it's my girlfriend. You know, like I've been seeing this girl, and I just don't think it's working out. It's like we're from like completely different worlds. You know, like I'm from Brazil, so I've got the whole Latin American culture thing is kind of where I come from, and she's imaginary. So, so she's got like to deal with like rogue fairies and so it's like a lot of problems. Like she won't give me any ass play, and I don't know. Like it's in the bedroom too. Like I just feel like I'm doing all the work. All right, some of you get that later. Okay. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna break up with her, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I think I might just take her to the zoo because I think that's like the best way to break up with someone. No, like feel me out on this one. Like I'm like, like if you take someone to the zoo, you go to like a weird exhibit, like I don't know, like the bonobos or something, and then you're like, why? Isn't that a very exotic animal? And they're like, yes, that is in fact a very exotic animal. And then you say, I'm breaking up with you. Just walk away. That doesn't even make a whole lot of sense, but. So yeah, so I'm from Brazil, and we don't believe in segue in Brazil. We don't have a word for it in Portuguese. I'm from Brazil, and I don't know, like it's still, believe it or not, I've been in the U.S. for a long time, but it's still like a weird transition coming from another country. Like you guys got some fucked up shit here in America. It's weird. Like I still, so I've got like this character that I do. I'm gonna start off with this. Like this was me when I came to the U.S. when I was young. Okay, I was like this. You also have to picture, we didn't have like phones back then. We had like, cameras. So you gotta picture this huge, like, Nikon, or maybe like a Kodak, like this big ass camera hanging, So I'm like, okay, so this is me. Sun is singing, birds are bright. American girl, so pretty, yeah. Would you like to play some football? I mean soccer. So, that was like when I was a kid, and I would get all this weird shit. Like, because I'm not from like just being from Brazil. Like, okay, so like being from Brazil in the South in the 80s, people would say like, oh yeah, Brazil. Y'all speak that Mexican down there, don't you? Y'all eat a lot of them tortillas down in Brazil. And then the one that gets me, and I still get this one today. Like people still say this shit. Man, y'all got a lot of beautiful women down there in Brazil. I've never known what to say to this. Like, you're welcome. Like as if I'm at the supermodel factory, like pumping the freaking lever, just cranking them out. Yo, Joey, check number 72. I think her levels of institutionalized sexism are running low. And one of her tits looks like it's flat. I don't know, man. I shit you not, like one time I had my boss at this place that I worked at, right? They were trying to figure out what I was. And they were like, man, so what is you? Because you ain't white. And they looked at me like, and another one looked at me like, oh, I know. He one of them Greek motherfuckers. Greece, South America, very different places. I don't know. Okay, well, anyways. So, alright, so I'm gonna give you guys, can I tell you guys a Brazilian joke? Yes. Okay, so I want to preface this, right? So this is actually, I'm translating this from the original language in Portuguese, right? So some things don't quite cross the pond, you know, like things get lost in translation, alright? So here's a joke. What did the village elder say to the capybara when he saw the monkey dancing among the guarana leaves with his uncircumcised penis dangling to and fro? I wish I had my ox bone pestle that is used for grinding wild nuts. Some things just don't translate, cultural differences, you know. But speaking of cultural differences, pages get turned. Pages are weird too. We don't have those in Brazil either. Paper's kind of a new thing for us. So, speaking of cultural differences, I went to my first baseball game. I went to my first baseball game like last year. Like very recently. I'd never been to a baseball game before. Holy shit. We don't have that shit in Brazil. It's like fucked up, right? Like I had no idea what was going on. First of all, it was like the Atlanta Braves versus like the Cleveland Indians. And I was trying to figure out who had the most racially insensitive name. Like I was like, huh. That's some fucked up shit you Americans do to your marginalized indigenous groups. You know, we don't do that shit to our native people in Brazil. No, we don't do that shit. We just clear cut their homeland and let them die of starvation as God intended. So I'm sitting at this baseball game and I have no idea what's going on. It's like you sit sometimes, you stand, sometimes you sing, you know, and then I was like, oh, I get it. Baseball is like Catholic Church, right? I see you sit sometimes, you stand, you sing a song. It's like, it's church, okay? It's Catholic Church for Americans. You know, you walk, you line up to get the freaking, you know, cracker from the priest. It's just like you line up to get your beer at the concession stand. You got the priest doing the incense down the aisles like the peanut guy. Okay, I get it. Now I'm with you. Okay, all right. So, you know, I don't know, it's like, baseball is just like one of those issues, you know? A lot of issues, and I just want to talk about some issues. Yeah, that's really what I want to talk about, is the issues. You know, like, issue number 537, The Amazing Spider-Man. Very important issue nowadays, the first appearance of Venom, but other important issues as well, like Shark Week, you know? Shark Week, because like, I don't ever know like when Shark Week ends or when Shark Week begins. I don't think anybody does. And I don't know why sharks get a week. Like why isn't it like, you know, like Meerkat Mondays or fucking Turtle Tuesdays? No, like sharks get a week. They're like the marginalized, like historically marginalized race of the animal kingdom. It's like we get Black History Month, sharks get a week. I don't know why. But I always use that as an excuse because like nobody ever knows when Shark Week is. So it's like, hey dude, can you help me move? Oh, I can't, brother. It's Shark Week. So, another issue I want to talk about. I'm gonna end this. Another issue I want to talk about is ghosts. Because yeah, ghosts are fucking assholes. What the fuck is up with ghosts? Every time you hear about ghosts haunting shit, they're always like turning lights on and off, scaring people, fucking breaking shit, like making cups move around by their own volition. Like why ghosts? Why? Why can't you ever get haunted by like a nice ghost? You know, why can't you come home and be like, my dishes have been cleaned mysteriously. Like someone has taken the time to vacuum. How did this happen? You know? But, you know, can you imagine, like, have you guys seen Ghost Hunters, that, like, TV show? You know, like, Taps? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay. So can you imagine, like, the Ghost Hunters on that one, they go to investigate? It's like, so let me get this straight. You are a single man, 35 years old. You came home, your laundry was folded, and your dishes have been washed. We don't need to get the equipment out. This shit is haunted. All right, my name is Augusto, guys. Have a good night.
Keep it going for Augusto, everybody. He speaks English so well. Doesn't he speak English so well, everybody? so good. You know, when I was speaking to your invisible girlfriend, and she told me I'm dating a Brazilian man, I was so excited to meet him because everything I had learned about Brazil I learned from Street Fighter 2. So I was very disappointed when you weren't green with orange hair and you could surge electricity through your body. Also, talking about these friendly hauntings, I always thought, why don't we have like fairy tales for adults? You know, like there's the story about the elves that come out and like they go into the shoemaker's house and they build all these shoes overnight so that he can sell them and have money and have a living. Like, why can't we like update that shit and have like gnomes that like will cover up like an affair or something like that? You know, like husband's home and like wife comes home early and she's like, hey babe, I just need to get something out of the bedroom. And he's like, no, don't go in there. And she opens the door and she's like, honey, you cleaned. It is spick and span in here. Mwah, I love you. Anyway.
That's amazing. That's like a Windex commercial.
It should be. You know, let's talk. Let's talk. You guys ready for your next comic? This means yes. All right, our next comic is as clean as the gnomes will make that apartment. Please give it up for your next comic, Tyler Colvin.
I didn't know this was a comedy thing. I thought this was like an anything goes. Like normally I just sing one of my hymns and we all have a good time. First, what I like to do is tell 3 interesting facts: one nature, one death, and one about sex. So here's the nature one. You know that hippocabs weigh nearly 100 pounds, and I know what you're thinking. So do my wife's. You know that this is the death one. About 153,000 people will die on your birthday. Is anybody's birthday coming up? Well, enjoy it. This is the sex one. A male honeybee's genitals explode at the end of sex, and he leaves the tip of his penis as a plug to prevent the sperm from leaving. Is that how humans do it? No, it isn't, right? No, really. Okay, so here's the hymn. And I just kind of want to spice it up a little bit because this is comedy, and I don't want to do it like I would do it in church. I'm gonna sing it like Luke Bryan, who's my favorite. All right, here goes. Get a beat going, yeah. Who put the colors in the rainbow? Who put the salt into the sea? Who put the corn to the snowflake? Who made you and me? Come on, everybody. Not done yet. Who put the hump upon the camel? Who put the neck on the giraffe? Who put the tail upon the monkey? Who made hyenas laugh? It's you guys. Because you're comedians. You know? Like you made them laugh. Oh, yeah. The answer was God. So I know that wasn't what you were looking for, so I jotted down some things, from my crazy life. So one time I smoked a whole marijuana stick, and I thought I lost my hands. It was a relief when I found them in my pockets. Another time when I got super high from a bunch of weed bowls, I accidentally locked my keys in the car, and so I couldn't get out. The last time I did a drug blunt, I thought I was dead. I still haven't figured that one out. What is life but merely the dream awakened by death's embrace? Sorry. So this is a story of when I was with a woman. So I was with my girlfriend, my main squish, the old balls and chains, and things were going good, or well or good. Well is an adverb, so he plays well, he runs well. I think it's good. That things were going good. No, I think it's well. Things were going well, and so I say to her, hey, Diane, or Diane, Rach, Ash, Diarrhea. That's my girlfriend's name. Her last name is Smith. We like each other and spend time together. So I say to her, hey, Diarrhea, why don't we get out of here and have sexual intercourse? My parents will not be home for another 15 minutes. And she replied, yes, baby muffin cake, I would gladly allow my body to accept the delightful company of your exceptionally sized penis. My penis is big. I don't like sharing that, but it's crucial to the story, you know. So anyway, we got back to my place, and I said, would you like me to do you in the anal or the vagina? And she said, how about both, honey? And I said, that would be sublime. Bitch. So then we started to do it, the sex, like how you do it, like woo. Like my parts were near her parts, and we did it. I don't do the sex very often. I haven't in a while. A few weeks, maybe. Months. It might even be a year. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a year. I can't even remember the last time. I mean, it happened so long ago. I mean, I wouldn't say I was drunk when it happened, so I don't even remember if I have done it. And I couldn't tell you who it was with because they all go to a different school. I've never had sex. Nothing on there. Well, who needs it? You know, I mean, I don't even have a girlfriend anymore. Yeah, the last girl I was in a relationship with actually died. She fell off a cliff. That's at least what she told me. I'm not crazy, okay? Not crazy. You're all looking at me like I'm some kind of crazy person, but I'm not. But I am single. So
I was going to make fun of him, but this is kind of tricky. Tyler Coleman, everybody. Where's Jarrod? He's off drinking somewhere. No, never mind. Just never mind. I don't want to deal with you right now. So, I see you guys enjoyed Tyler's set. Jarrod enjoyed it especially because he's been drinking a lot. He called that set, he called it like post-hipster, post-ironic. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Did you clap here? In the Marty McFly outfit? How much have you been drinking? Jeffrey, don't answer for him. Jeffrey! Anyway, I came in halfway through and I thought it was delightful, so thank you, Tyler. You guys ready for your next comment? There you are. Please give it up for this next comic. She's a new arrival to the scene and she has just improved by leaps and bounds in a very short time. Very funny lady. Please give it up for the comic with the name of an actress, Molly McDowell.
Welcome to the Trigger Warning Comedy Show. I'm your entertainment and possibly the topic of discussion at your next therapy session. And if you don't laugh, you will be the topic of discussion at mine. So my rapist, that's not the punchline, guys. My rapist played hockey for Cornell about a decade ago, and he was the guy who on the power play, they would put in front of the net to knock in the rebounds from the other players, because he's really good at forcing things into places people don't want them to go. He's from Rochester. No, don't cheer for that. He's from Rochester, which is the home of the garbage plate, as you may know. You can cheer for that. Which is kind of a funny coincidence because he also resembles a huge pile of trash. Yeah. Now, the whole rape situation, I have to say, was partly my fault because you've probably heard the statistic that 60 to 70% of victims actually know their attackers. So if I had been willing to go through life completely alone, it probably never would have happened. So, yeah, so fuck me for having friends. Like, literally. Now, I also have to be honest, I didn't tell the whole truth to the police when I went to them and told them what happened. Because I told them that the reason that I didn't actually want to have consensual sex with him was because he's married. But the whole truth is that it's also because he physically disgusts me. Yeah, because he's gained a whole lot of weight since college. And you know that you've been reading too many body positive feminist blogs when you're afraid of fat shaming your rapist. And you know, the dude is such a narcissist. He'd be so pissed off to find out that I'm up here talking about him like this. Not because I'm calling him out as a rapist, but because I'm talking about how fat he's become. So I talked to a lawyer about pursuing some civil action against the guy, and I ended up doing that, and I got a good result, so, you know, go me. But we're sitting there, and we're talking about my recourse that I could have, and I got to the part where I told him that, you know, hey, this guy has a wife, and he goes, oh, he's married? Yes, counsel. The real tragedy here is that he cheated. You know, Leviticus would have a field day with this guy. We've got the rape, We've got the adultery. And he even had shellfish with dinner the night of the incident. It's true. Oysters on the half shell, Maxie's. It was actually a really great dinner. Dessert sucked, but, you know. Yeah, I actually thought that he was being really generous because he was buying drinks for me all night, and it turns out that he just lacked the initiative to go find some roofies. I have to say though, so the rape happened at the Statler up on Cornell's campus, and that was the only way that I was going to get to stay in a hotel that nice. Should have ordered room service. I should have. I heard their pancakes are really good. Oh God, missed opportunity. Anyway, I really think I should do a Yelp review. Sexual assault has never been more luxurious. The Egyptian cotton sheets are so soft, you won't get any friction burns on your knees or wrists. And the housekeeping is impeccable, much to the chagrin of the Cornell University Police Department. You can leave your blacklight at home because you won't find any telltale stains on these comforters. Yeah, you won't. Kind of sucks. Anyway, so this whole rape situation has really impacted my entire life. Like anything you can think of. Like tonight I was getting ready and I was trying to think like, what am I going to wear? I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm trying on different outfits and I couldn't decide. So I settled on this because I thought that maybe I looked rapeable, but not like I'm asking for it. So the thing that pisses me off the most, I mean, like besides everything, but the thing that pisses me off the most is that, the investigator's questioning this guy, and at a certain point, he goes, I didn't come. You go to the trouble of committing a major crime. Like, this is a Class A felony, by the way. Rape, first-degree rape is a Class A felony in New York State. You go to the trouble of committing a Class A felony, and you don't even accomplish the stated objective of the crime? Are you fucking kidding me? You lazy asshole. All right, that's my time. That's it. Thank you very much. You've been great.
Keep it going for Molly McDowell, everybody. So Molly's talking about a very personal experience. I also wanted to talk about a personal experience of mine that I think is right on the same level. And it's when I found out that my girlfriend made more money than I do. It was just emasculating and terrible. I really felt I didn't know who I was anymore. And because I feel like as a man, you need every advantage that you can get. Let me explain. Because in today's society, if you really think about it, men don't really matter. Think of it this way. Because scientists, this is absolutely true by the way, you can Google this. Scientists can create male sex cells from female DNA. You can actually fertilize an egg with female DNA now. They literally don't need us anymore. It's like that movie Bug's Life, where they're all imprisoned by the crickets, but they don't get that they don't need the fucking crickets. If that shit ever got out, we'd be screwed, okay? So I'm like, okay, how do we fix this wage disparity problem, right? So I found out that I can go to night school, the equivalent of night school over here downtown at what's called Empire State College, where they called me a non-traditional student. That means old, by the way. And they told me that you can take online courses, classroom courses, and if you know anybody with a master's degree or better, we will pay them a stipend to teach you the course. My girlfriend at the time responded by going, hey, I've got a master's degree. I'll tutor you. You know what I'm talking about. I'll tutor you in that chorus, and you can fuck me and the system at the same time. It'll be our first three-way. Anyway, I know I'm telling jokes up here, but I just want to remind everybody that I'm joking when I say I equate that to Molly's experience. Moving right on. Moving on to your next comic. Are you guys ready? Your next comic has a partial name here. I'm not going to guess as to the last name, but his first name is Tom, and his last name starts with an H. Please give it up for Tom H. Here he is, Miss America.
Woo! Yeah, Miss America.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is this microphone fucking working?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Alright, so I've been hanging out here for a minute. And the past couple people before me, they said some heavy stuff, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting out there, and I'm thinking, how do I open this goddamn set, you know? And the only thing I can think of after I heard about rape and religion and about the worst guy, am I allowed to curse up here? I don't even know. The only thing I think about after I heard about all that terrible stuff is, what's up, motherfuckers? Anyway, so my girlfriend's here tonight, and that's pretty terrible. You know, the thing is, you know, like, I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, I sent her, like, I was like, yeah, man, I got wasted. I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna actually show up at like an open mic for the first time in 6 months. And she was like, that's great, I'll come. And I was like, no, you know, because, like, you know, the worst thing you want in the world is people who give a fuck about you, you know? The last thing you want is people who are gonna give you the needs. Now, I kept my last name off the form. I got made fun of for my last name as a child, you know? My last name's Hand, just pretty simple right there. And yeah, that's right. Haven't heard that one before. Why don't you come up here, man?
I will, man.
Oh, damn it, man! Now another person beat me, man. Now, the worst thing about my name is I grew up in my neighborhood was like 30% Asian, 30% like Asian, like East Asian, 30% South Asian, and 30% white. So I was about the only kid in America who got made fun of for their name by a kid named Osama in 2003, which was just a unique experience, you know. I try to put that on my resume, you know. You know, it's great to be here tonight, you know, because my parents always told me that if I wanted to, I'd go to law school and live my dream, right? And I grew up in a little middle class household. I was terrible social, and I grew up in front of television. And this is the first time I've done both of them, you know. The first time I've done stand-up and got law school, but anyway, the beautiful thing about pool, and I'm gonna talk about pool, you know. I didn't practice no goddamn segues, so forget that.
That's alright.
It's alright. You know, the beautiful thing about pool is that it's the only game in the world where you can get screwed up and someone expects you to do math, expects you to do it well. You know? You play chess. No one expects you to do beer chess. No one expects you to go out there,
I know people though.
You know people.
I know people though.
You know people that play beer chess.
At 2 a.m. in the morning.
Alright. Now, you signed me up for that tournament. But, the point is, you don't go out there, and expect to play.
Chest, ass in the chest.
Now, you know, you play a lot of games, but you don't expect people to play, many games where they're screwed up, that don't matter. Now, you can teach kids about geometry while you're playing pool. You can learn about life while you're playing pool. But, you can do it while you're screwed up. And that's the kind of game I want in the world I want to live in. I've been thinking about getting older because I'm hitting the old age of 23 right now, which is terrible. I've got 15 gray hairs. My stomach's expanded to a 31. I went to run 3 miles. I got tired. This is it. I'm waiting for death right now. And I'm sitting there. I'm looking at my age right now, and I see like you turn on you see a lot of guys in their 40s and talk about getting older, and I'm like, damn, that's me now. And then I see a lot of people in their 80s, and I'm like, at least I'll be dead by then. Seriously, now, someone begged me to get the hell off the stage because I can't see worth it at all. But I see other people, and they walk around like this. They're in their 70s or 80s. They're losing their ability to get around. And they still do less drugs than most of my friends. So I'm not sure how I can deal with that. I feel like you hit 80 something, right? People are good in their 70s. People go golfing in their 70s. People do whatever in their 70s. But you hit your 80s, right? You're at 80s, you're just a husk. And you're slowly withering. And you're waiting. And all the time, you're allowed to get prescriptions. For basically anything. Let's be honest right now. If you're 83 and you go in there and you say something's hurting, they're gonna believe you. Alright? And you're 83 and you're walking along. You're in your wheelchair. You're in your walker. And you're like, hey, I'm gonna go about my day doing nothing. You're retired. You've got no job. And you go and you don't get high. You don't get drunk. You just sit there and you play crosswords. And I can't imagine doing none of that. I hit 83 and I'm still moving. I'm getting prescriptions from Vicodin. And I'm getting screwed. Because if you don't at that point, you're well, that's about my time because well, that's the closest I come to not bombing, so thank you very much.
Give it a go for Tom H, everybody. Comedy's more of an art than a science. I host a lot, so sometimes after a show, or in tonight's case, during the show, somebody will come up to me and they'll say, you know what? Whatever your name is, you're pretty funny. You should think about doing comedy. God damn it. Anyway, I don't take it to heart. I'll just drink a lot more later until I forget about it. You guys ready for your next comic? Everything but that last part is what I like to hear. Your next comic has the cutest name on the lineup. Please give it up for Scott Sticker. Thank you. Thank you guys. How's everyone doing?
I realize more and more by being around other comics and coming to open mic situations that I probably should not be doing stand-up, which is also a horrible way to start a set. But let me explain. I have several things, at least at this point in my life, I have several things working against me. First of all, I am a vegan, which to a lot of people is a joke in and of itself. But there's a lot of jokes about me and my people, or whatever. But I'm not actually allowed to make jokes myself. It's in our rules. Second of all, I have a child who I really, really enjoy. I like my kid. I'm not going to get up on stage and hate my children for you guys like a lot of stand-ups do. And third of all, I actually had a pretty good childhood. I had a father who really, really supported me growing up. Even my terrible ideas, he was really, really, really supportive. He's not dead. He lives in Canada, which is, you know. And lastly, I have a wife who I really enjoy as well. I'm actually at a very happy point in my life, which, you know, might negate some of my comedy. Some of this is because she actually pays attention to my penis a little bit. Sorry, this is starting to sound like bragging a little. Is bragging funny? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so like I mentioned, I am a vegan. I'll remind you constantly, don't worry. And as a vegan, I am still talking about our super video Bible extravaganza animal rights action that was called Blackfish. I'm still talking about it. If any of you don't know what Blackfish is, came out pretty recently. It was basically about all the horrible things that SeaWorld is doing. It was great. I'm glad it got made. SeaWorld is terrible. But I was actually really confused by the reception. I was really confused that so many people enjoyed it, and that it was played on CNN and played on heavy rotation and got on Netflix and everything. Not because I think SeaWorld might be doing good things, but because I was under the impression that SeaWorld wasn't still socially acceptable. I basically thought that SeaWorld was there for hillbillies to go and eat churros and point at animals who were slightly heavier and slightly dumber than them. I'm probably the only vegan I know who will call animals dumb. I have no problem with that. That's one of the reasons why I'm a vegan. I realize that some animals suck. They're terrible. I have a friend who has a cat, and it's the shittiest cat. You walk by and she'll hiss at you and she'll yell at you and she'll swat at you. My friend constantly says, "Oh, she's just misunderstood." Yeah, by you. You're the only one who doesn't understand that this cat is an asshole. Terrible. Like I mentioned earlier also, I have a kid who I really enjoy. My wife and I are doing our best to raise this kid. She's really proud of him. She loves showing off photos of him, especially to other women, to moms, to, you know, anywhere. She'll see another woman and she'll whip out her phone and start showing photos off. And at least one of the photos in that set is of him in the bathtub. And inevitably one of the women will point to him and say, "Oh, look how cute his little penis is. Look how cute his little thingy is." And sure, my kid's got a super cute dick. Don't get me wrong. But I like to imagine that scenario with the genders reversed. Like, I like to imagine me having a daughter and showing pictures of him, showing pictures to another dude of my daughter in a bathtub, and him saying, "Look how cute her tiny vagina is." I think someone would get upset if they heard the phrase, "Look at her cute tiny vagina." My wife was looking at my joke notes, my set list or whatever, and she saw the phrase, "tiny cute vagina," and she asked what the fuck I was talking about on stage, and I told her the joke and she didn't laugh or whatever. But she said, "Oh, they can't see their vagina. That's their vulva." So that right there is reason number 5 why I shouldn't be up here doing stand-up is I don't know anatomy. Look at her tiny cute vulva. Should be the joke. So raising a child's tough nowadays. That's bullshit. It's tough always. But currently I'm terrified of the internet. The internet is a terrible, terrible place. My child's gonna see so many amazing, wonderful, beautiful things online, but he's also gonna be seeing some fucking before he even comes out of his tiny, cute dick. He's gonna see the worst possible things online and potentially develop the worst possible fetishes. Fetishes are really, I mean, Google My Little Pony with the safe search turned off, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Fetishes are really, really strange, though. I was thinking a lot about fetishes recently, and I think the absolute worst possible fetish to have would be to be turned on by your own flaccid dick. That would be horrible. Sexuality in general is really weird. For a lot of people, it's this beautiful, flowy, amazing thing. But for a lot of other people, their entire marriage could be destroyed just by knowing that I once touched another man's penis. I had friends growing up. I grew up in Texas, and I had friends whose parents wouldn't let them watch the Care Bears because that show promoted the gay agenda, which was mind-blowing to me. But I'm not proud of this, but I kind of understand that. Not that I hate gays or anything, but I had a roommate in college who was asexual, and it made me so angry, so unbelievably angry. He was a totally normal dude, but he just wasn't interested in any kind of sex with anyone. He, he'd go out and drink with us and be just totally normal, but he didn't want to fuck anyone. And for some reason that really, really upset me. I can't even explain why. I would do terrible things to try and get him to touch my dick, though. Like, I'd come out to breakfast, we lived together, and I'd come out to breakfast and be wearing nothing but boxers and being fully erect, and he wouldn't touch my dick, not that I'm, touchable, but it just got me so upset that this was happening. Another terrible thing is, I know my kid's gonna inevitably do drugs at some point, that's fine, everyone does drugs. I did a shit ton of drugs when I was a kid, in like middle school and high school. Ribbon was talking about acid earlier and how amazing it was. My friends and I, the amount of acid we did was insane. We used to take acid and then have a competition of who could fall asleep the fastest before the acid kicked in. Seriously, I don't know if I ever won, but I once woke up in a treehouse that was on fire, so I don't know if that's winning, but it was terrifying.
It sounds like winning.
I stopped doing drugs recently. I'm not recently, actually a while ago. Because, in the DARE program, the Just Say No stuff, one of their bullet points is, for Just Saying No, is that tell them you're allergic to it. I think I'm actually the one person who is allergic to weed. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, it's the worst thing ever. I get dizzy, and I fall over, and I vomit, and it's fucking terrible. But lately, having a child, I've had these weird residual stoner thoughts come out again that I haven't said since like freshman year of college. For example, the other day he was, he's learning his colors now, and so he pointed to something that was yellow and called it green, and that's, whatever, that's great. I turned to my wife, I addressed her as dude, I said, dude, what if the green that he sees is different than the green that you and I see? She walked the fuck out of the room immediately. And then we were reading bedtime books. We were reading Goodnight Moon the other day. If any of you haven't read Goodnight Moon, it's this really, really plot-heavy, really character-driven, just amazing, amazing book. It's got this bunny who wears clothes and sleeps in a bed and has a grandma bunny who knits. And it's about him saying goodnight to all the things. And one of the things that he says goodnight to is kittens. He says goodnight kittens. And there's a picture of two dumb kittens playing with their dumb ball of yarn. And I turned to my kid and I said, dude, I addressed my kid as dude. I said, dude, why does the rabbit get to talk, but the cats can't? He slammed the book immediately and put it on the dresser. I haven't seen that book since. I think I blew my kid's mind. So I mentioned how supportive my parents were earlier. One thing that they were not at all supportive of was tattoos. I have silly animal tattoos because I'm a vegan and it's what we're supposed to do. My mom was super upset when she found out I got tattoos. She cried. She broke down and cried, got really upset, and she courted me and she was like, listen, the body is the Lord's temple. You should take care of it. You should really respect it. I told her, I said, listen, I have really bad asthma. I have horrible ADD, and I die if I eat a peanut. My body is not the Lord's temple. My body is like the Lord's Sector 7 project housing at best. I die if I eat something that evolutionarily, over time, had to develop a shell because people kept eating it because it was so delicious. I die if I eat that tiny little pea. I'm very, very weak, is what I'm saying. So, I mentioned my wife earlier as well. We have a very great relationship. We don't ever argue. I've never really argued with anyone in any relationships that I've been in. I can, however, recall one argument. It was a really, really bad argument that I had. And it was actually about condoms. It was really weird. My girlfriend at the time and I, just like different condoms. I liked ones that had some bumps on them and had some fun, pleasure center zones or whatever you want to call them. And she liked other kinds. She actually liked condoms that had other guys' dicks in them. So, pretty big argument. Thank you, guys.
Keep it going for Scott Sticker, everybody. The best vegan ever, am I wrong? Does acid touch his penises? And he's, I think, as adorable as his name suggests. Him and his wife still use condoms? That's adorable.
Oh my God!
Where did you guys get married? Discovery Zone?
Yes.
I assure you that our next comedian is just as adorable. Please give it up for Evan Roberts. He's adorable! Keep it going! I said keep it going.
I hate going on after someone that does mostly a set about their family and their children. I could do jokes about my kids, but people hate jokes that involve medical waste bags. I'm not actually a comic, by the way. I just do this to pay the bills. My real passion is performing menial tasks in the local food and beverage industry. I could sell out, I could get benefits, I could go get a job up at Cornell in food service. I don't know if you guys heard Jon Stewart's leaving The Daily Show. Sad news, yeah. It's a bummer. Bad thing to read in my set, but he's probably doing the right thing. As anyone who's ever attended this open mic could attest, it can be painful when the host is on for too long. And by the way, we were talking about Jarrod Winters doing his Woody Allen impression drunk. Jarrod, I've seen your drunk Woody Allen impression. It's not as much fun. You just make shitty movies and have sex with your adopted Asian underage daughter. I wanted to roast, that's a Woody Allen joke. It doesn't actually cut to the core of what you are as a person. So I was thinking about how like they tell you that drugs are like it's like a peer pressure thing, and that oh, you're cool if you do drugs. It's not cool to do drugs. It's cool to be offered drugs. If you're lame, nobody's gonna offer you drugs. Nobody's like, hey, Jarrod Winters, I've got an 8-ball back at my house. That's never gonna happen.
Fucking surprised. Yeah, I would be.
By the way, that Woody Allen joke was me, and I'm sure he would never go anywhere near a vagina, underaged or otherwise. Other people I was mad at when I was about to take the stage. Oh, Molly, we don't know each other, but you crowded the line. You're like, oh, here's a huge line here. Can I just go in 3rd rather than 12th where I should be assigned because that's when I got here? No, I have the privilege and entitlement to just slide my way to You're ever like driving on the highway? This is how people drive in Connecticut. If you ever had the misfortune of driving through Connecticut, the Midwest of the Northeast. It's the middle of the Northeast. You just have to drive it to get someplace you want to go. People there fucking drive like assholes, and they're like, okay, to get to Hartford, stay in this lane. You're like, all right, that's me. I'm going to Hartford. You're in the Hartford lane, and you're waiting. You get to the front of the line, and then there's the fucking assholes that just come up the side and just crowd in at the front. Because that would work at the bank. You're like, oh, here's the line at the bank. I'm just gonna knife, they call it knifing. I'm just gonna knife in right at the front. Well, I didn't notice the sign that said get in line here. I just went to the front because that's where I wanted to go. That's how it works. There's a special place in hell waiting for those people. And they'll get there like 2 car lengths before I do. Alright, let's get a little more topical here. I'm sorry, it's a little too abstract. Anyone watch that show Girls? Girls? I don't know, it had a really important scene where I'm gonna holster the mic for this one. But yeah, like the one girl, the Brian Williams' daughter character, is like this in the bathroom or in the kitchen over the sink like that, and then her boyfriend is like, he's like down like this, just like chomping on her ass, and her ass cheeks are like shaking in his face. It's gorgeous. It's a wonderful scene. A lot of guys are grossed out by it, but I mean, we're talking about like, first of all, it's Brian Williams' daughter. Second of all, I'm not good at the mic stand yet. That's something I'm gonna have to hone if I want to become an actual professional, to be honest with you guys. Anyway, he's just motorboating this thing. But my friends were, a lot of guys were like, oh, that's just gross. I wouldn't do that. First of all, this is like a Brooklyn hipster girl. She's probably vegan. She's like a nice diet. She's eating greens all the time. It's not like, I mean, if they'd done it on Roseanne, I would have been grossed out. They did do it on the Golden Girls, and I was not grossed out, interestingly enough. Speaking of network television, when I walk around town, people are like, oh yeah, you look like, you know who you look like? And I'm like, I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead, look. You look like that guy from the Great Big Bang Theory, or whatever, but kind of fatter and stuff. Yeah. I had to adjust that joke to my recent weight gain, but anyway, I'm like, oh, so I don't watch that show because I assume it sucks because it's on network television. It's 2015, let's be honest. You watch FX, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so I watched it, and it was the fucking dude from Roseanne. The one from Roseanne that was banging Darlene, the ugly daughter. It was David. And I was like, oh, thanks. I'm like the guy that banged Roseanne's ugly daughter. I would bang either Becky before I'd bang Darlene. I'd bang DJ, honestly. Can we talk about the Super Bowl, or is that this isn't the kind of crowd that knows that football happens for a minute? So I just found it so depressing that the Patriots are the bad guys. I think we all. If you don't understand football, which I think a lot of you don't, I'm just gonna try to. Okay, you watch Game of Thrones, right? People are like, hey, there you go. We watch Game of Thrones. So, I mean, football is exactly like Game of Thrones. You wait all week for it. It happens on Sunday, and then you feel miserable on Monday. That's what it's like if you were rooting for the Seahawks in that Super Bowl. Because it was like the Red Wedding and the duel, the recent duel that was really upsetting. All happening at once. And I just imagine, it was like I picture Russell Wilson lying in the end zone and Tom Brady up on top of him, just gouging his eyeballs out and saying, I deflated the ball, just like this. I'm not saying that Tom Brady necessarily deflated those balls. There's going to be a whole investigation. There's one thing we know for sure. We know that Jay was involved. That appeals to 3 people that watch and listen to Serial. It's a pretty good joke. I'm pretty proud of it. People have weird expressions for things. Like dry humping. I used to hear about dry humping when I was in high school. Fortunately, it's 2015 and we have officially eliminated foreplay from sex. Or light foreplay, just go straight to oral now. But they called it dry humping, but it was only dry on my end for about 36 seconds.
Yeah.
Another one. The walk of shame. The shame is all on their end.
Yes, sir.
For me, it's the walk of triumph.
Yeah.
I don't feel the shame until after I've gone to Planned Parenthood. I think that's about what I got for right now. Yeah, I think I'm good. Ruben, you ready?
Yeah.
Thanks to Evan Roberts.
Keep it going for Evan Roberts, everybody. Cute and cuddly as promised.
Thank you.
He's a nice guy until you get to know him. You guys ready for your next comic? Alright, up next is the comic that at least one of you has been waiting for. Please give it up for Mr. Keith Hammond. He's also the tallest comic tonight. And by Invader Zim rules, that means he's in charge. Keith Hammond.
Thank you, Ruben. Actually, little Ruben fact for everybody. His real name is Ralph. Ralph.
What?
Not a lot of people know that. Yes. Stage name is Ruben. Yeah, he wants us all to think he's Hispanic, but you're just a lame Caucasian like the rest of us, you son of a bitch. Nobody's fooled. He's up here talking about Congress and DNA? That's Caucasian humor, you son of a bitch. How dare you steal that from us? I had a whole set about DNA and Congress and doing your taxes and the IRS. I didn't really. I think you understand that, though. Let me go to my little notebook here. I hate Caucasians. Not a big white fan. Not a big white fan. Kind of a self-loathing Caucasian. I don't really understand white people that don't like other people that aren't white, because most white people, you grow up with white people. My friends were white people. My family were white people. My coworkers is mostly white people here in Ithaca. If I hate you, there's like a 99.9% chance you are Caucasian. So, not a big fan of white people. I don't like white people because white people complain about the weather. All I do the last 2 months is get in elevators and hear people complain about the weather. As if it's not cyclic. as if you don't know it's coming. It happens every goddamn year, and you hate it, but you're still here, so shut up. Have you ever gotten into an elevator and had a black guy complain about what's coming on the radar? They don't do that. That's why I like them. And I don't care for white people. Is there any white people here tonight? Oh, okay. Wow. This just got awkward, didn't it? A room full of white people in Ithaca. Imagine that. Even the guy from Brazil was white. Come on. I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled at all by that. I'm from Brazil. Talk whiter than I do. So Ebola's gone. That's good. That's something else you could probably blame on white people. Ebola's gone, but the measles are here. Oh, yes. Yes. PSA from Ruben, vaccinate your effing children. See, I didn't say it. I'm going to do a clean show here. You guys have heard enough about penises and sex and girlfriends. I'm married. I don't really have the luxury to talk about sex. It's not part of my life right now. It's a transition phase. I'm looking forward to growing out of that. And the individual who said he wasn't going to throw his kids under the bus, I don't really believe he has kids. The one thing you can do as somebody with kids is throw them under the bus and hate on them. I was late here tonight because my son wouldn't go to sleep. I'm not going to go. Actually, that's not true. I am going to go into that. But the measles are here. Let's get back on track. I have an agenda here to talk about the measles. Ruben got me sidetracked. The measles are here, and apparently, like, you know, a healthy community, this is what the stats tell you. A healthy community is supposed to be like 94% vaccinated. Ithaca's like 74%. So the trouble is, who do you, I don't even know who to blame. Do you blame the hippies? Do you blame the eco-village? Do you blame the hippies? Vote for the hippies. Do you believe the religious people that think God just cures diseases? I don't know who to blame. I'm just going to blame Mate Factor. I think pretty much anything bad in town, I just chalk up to those delicious yet poison smoothies. They're serving up a nice, delicious cup of brainwash that probably comes with measles. But they make a hell of a cornbread, don't they? I'll tell you what. You go there, you're going to get a little bit of a sermon, but it's worth it. That cornbread is goddamn delicious. I think we should embrace measles, maybe. Look at it as a fad. You know, what are you wearing this season? I'm wearing measles. For a lot of us, my age, I got vaccinated. I never had a chance to get the measles. It was pretty much a non-factor. Now I have a chance. I get a second chance at measles. And I think that's good. You apparently don't think so. That's okay. I think Ithaca could probably use more vaccination if you look at the teenagers that hang around the commons. Maybe if they were vaccinated, they wouldn't be missing 9 chromosomes each. There's a bit of an issue there. They are a little bit unattractive is what I'm getting at. And yeah, but don't worry, they smoke cigarettes, so that helps. That churches them up nicely. People are getting mad at the Muslims again, blowing things up. This time we're shooting cartoonists. I don't think it's fair to label. It's not fair to label Muslims as just terrorists. I think terrorism is general. The way to fight terrorism is to unleash toddlers on them. So here's the part where I do talk about my kids. I think if you really want to stomp out terrorism, you don't need to waterboard anybody. I think you just you sleep deprive them, and then you lock them in a room. You make them do the bedtime routine with a toddler, and I think they'll come clean pretty quickly once they have to play the Y game at 10 o'clock at night. Why? Why do you hate America? Well, because they bomb us. I was gonna try to do like a Muslim accent, but I don't really do those. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I think it would just be racist to try. And as a Caucasian, I feel I can't do that. So you're gonna get the me voice. So imagine terrorist with a 3-year-old in bed. That's a little disturbing, but I think you get it. Why do you bomb Americans? Because they bomb us. Why? Well, because we bomb them. Why? Well, they don't cover their women. Why? Well, women are fairly attractive. Why? You know what? Let me out of here. I'm going to turn in pretty much everybody I know. You guys maybe don't have kids. The why game gets annoying is what I'm getting at. And I think it would drive even a terrorist to the breaking point is where I was going with that. This guy just wants out. Ruben, this guy just wants out. He's been in the front row all night. He just wants out. Doesn't help that it's like 61 degrees in here. I mean, there's basically windows open in the back. Can we, maybe if we started charging you bastards admission, we could have central heating or something. It's a free show, remember? Free show. Very precise. It's only because I just looked at the thermostat. It's right around the corner next to the men's room with the broken air. It went up. Must be all this hot air. Must be all that hot air. Okay, well, I'm just about done, but before I leave, Ruben, what do we got on the watch?
Overall or just you?
Just me.
30 seconds.
30 seconds? Really? That's it?
45.
All right, 45. He's giving me 45. I just want to do like, you know, I've been kind of surveying the room a little bit tonight. I want to play a little game called, just based on your appearance, I want to try to guess your profession. Can we do that?
Take as much time as you need.
Okay, how many do you think I can get right here? Is there an over/under, Ruben? What do you think? You know,
I'm gonna say 2.
2. Okay, let's start here. Go my right to my left. Your name, ma'am?
Melanie.
Melanie.
Yes.
Melanie. Librarian. No? No. What are you?
I have to tell you.
Yes. How do I know if I get it right if you don't tell me?
I'm not a librarian. You're wrong.
Okay. Bob. Bob, I know you from a comedic standpoint, but not from a profession standpoint. What we do up here is not a profession. We all agree. Okay. So if I'm looking at Bob just based on look, I'm going to say recently suspended high school social studies teacher who may or may not inappropriately have touched somebody. Yes, all right, that's one. Woo. I thought I was going to get shut out here. Okay, I thought I was going to shut here. Young lady here in glasses. Jeez. Jesus. Not you. I'm thinking. Elementary school nurse.
Librarian.
Librarian! Damn it! I used it up. All right. Guy that's had his coat on ready to leave for the last hour and a half. All right. Contractor? Yes?
That is so broad.
Yeah, it's, okay. Construction contractor? I was gonna go, or...
Well, you got it.
Yeah?
That's 2!
That's 2? Alright, I'll just do one more. Kind gentleman back here in the flannel.
Alright.
Which...
Hi!
Is that flannel? That's not flannel. That looks flannel from here. Is it flannel? So that you're trying to get me to say lumberjack, but I'm not going to fall for that. I'm not going to say lumberjack. I'm going to say proctologist. You have the gentle hands of a of a man who needs to get into places that none of us would rather be. Way off? What? Can you give us the answer?
I'm a realtor.
A realtor. Same thing. Same thing, you know. You're up somebody's ass at one time and you're, you know, so that's pretty much the same thing. All right, thanks very much, Ruben. It's back to you now.
Give it up for your tallest comic, Keith Hannon, everybody! Sorry, I was just about to give back an award. You can comment to BuzzFeed or something later. So I just want to say that people have been coming up to me and the other loud people and saying, "Fucking be quiet, those people are having a set right now." And I gotta say, that sounds like something a douchebag would do, but I am so moved that people give a shit that much that we're performing. So thank each and every one of you for coming to shut me up. I'm being sincere, camera. That doesn't have a red light that may or may not be on. I mean that. Thank you guys for giving a shit. So many of you are still here. We're like 2/3 through. That's amazing. Thank you guys so much for sticking it out. By the way, if anybody's paying attention, Jarrod is like on Long Island Iced Tea number 3 at least at this point. So this will end in a very interesting fashion. But in the meantime, are you guys? Don't help him anymore. He's fine. I want him to be able to speak. In the meantime, shut up now. Are you guys ready for your next comic? Your next comic is a very funny dude. He's performed with me here at the Starlight Room. I can't recommend him highly enough. Please give it up for Mr. Bob Asta.
How about a nice round of applause for your host, the beloved Ruben? Yes, good evening. Hi everybody, thank you for hanging out. It's really, and not playing Pac-Man, and I'm very grateful that we don't do this in a bowling alley, so, you know. Anyway, you know, I forgot my first joke. How do you like that? I had something very, you know, an odd experience recently. I was having lunch at a diner, and my waitress was a very, very attractive older woman. And as she's pouring my coffee, she asked me that question, "Would you like room for milk?" But it was like, you know, about 12:30, lunch hour. A lot of people, and it was very, very, you know, like a lot of noise, and I misheard her. I thought she said, "Would you like to get a room with a MILF?" And I'm thinking, wow, opportunity. So I said, how about after your shift? And again, very loud, lunch hour, she misheard me. She said, she misheard me. She thought I said, how about after you shit? And it was, you know, you talk about miscommunication. And awkward, forget about it. I mean, she, you know, we just kind of, I'm looking at her like with, you know, excited anticipation, like, and she's, you know, looking at me like, oh my God. And, you know, we just walked away, and, you know, I gave her a tip. She gave me the bird, and that was it, you know, so it was my experience. Are you guys finished with winter? I mean, are you sick of winter? Yeah. Really? Yeah. I have mixed feelings because I'm actually making money doing winter. You know, I removed snow. I really didn't touch anybody like Keith suggested, you know. You know, so it's just the bone-chilling coldness that gets me. And I went to the post office recently, you know, like -10, walked over there. It's a book of stamps, and they have themes on the books of stamps, like, you know, birds, flowers, and they had one theme, winter fun. Winter fun, and they had, like, you know, like little illustrations. Like one stamp would have like a happy snowman. Another one would have like a little kid, you know, on a sled going, you know, down a hill. And I'd like to, you know, I thought they should have another theme. I'm going to suggest this to the post office. Winter agony, right? Winter misery. It's just, you know, with, you know, like little illustrations of maybe a frozen corpse. Or maybe, you know, like a Volvo doing a skid, like a fishtail, you know, with the little, you know, the curves. Or maybe, you know, the same thing with the snowman, you know, the smiling snowman, but with like a dagger in his head, you know, just blood coming out. But, well, I like to play with words. I like to play with words. I like, you know, just, you know, like I was noticing that I forgot my joke. Wait, there's a lot of food metaphors. Like, you know, somebody, you know, this guy, he looks a little crazy. He's out of his gourd. Hope he doesn't get bananas. You know, it's plum crazy, that kind of thing. And even like you know, food metaphors connected with sex. Like, you know, that guy is so handsome, he's like a real beefcake. You know, he has buns of steel. He's pretty big. He might have a big cannoli. And this is going well. She's beautiful. Oh, she's a peach. She's a plum. She's got nice melons. She's got a nice honey pot. You know. And I tried to do parody there, and it didn't work. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. And you know, thank you. Good night.
I totally washed my hands. Give it up for Bob Astor! You can do better than that, fuck faces. Thank you. Did somebody say unprofessional?
Yeah. I was trying.
Who?
Me.
What? You better hope the real Batman's here to back you up, motherfucker!
He's not.
Oh no. Okay. That's Brian Raylan, everybody. You'll meet him soon. You'll meet him very soon. But first, you're gonna meet somebody that I like to call Dr. Pepper. Please give it up for a comic. It's written on his shirt in case he forgets. Please give it up for Ramsey! Yeah! Keep it going. He drinks beer out of a wine glass! It's already funny!
Oh my God, I'm so excited!
Hello. So first of all, I want to tell you guys.
He's so good. Jimmy.
Keep it limber. Keep it limber. Keep it hydrated. Keep it limber. Keep it hydrated. All the time.
That's right.
Every single day. If you don't, you're gonna die.
You're gonna learn. They're gonna learn conceptual humor.
Alright, so happy Black History Month. History! Get a Black History! And Black Valentine's Day. I definitely have a black heart. How about all of you? Okay, because the last fucking Valentine's I fucking went to, I've been a part of. Okay, so I bought a bouquet of $20 roses. I never gave it to the chick, but I still got laid. Great shit right there. Trying to keep it hydrated, keep it motivated, keep stretching. Woo! Woo! All right. Yeah, I can read. Definitely. Yeah. I don't know if I can read that well. I don't know if I can spell. But I know that I can tell you all that you should be laughing right now. Maybe. Maybe if I pull down my pants and show a thing.
Do it.
Okay. Alright. I don't know how to get back to where I was at.
He's not gonna.
Notebook.
Fuck.
There's nobody gets a cell phone.
Fucking cell phones suck.
Got it. Yo. What about that one?
Yeah, wait. I got a whole bunch of jokes. I don't know where they went. Happy Black History Month.
Got it, man.
We got change in here.
Adjustments have to be made eventually. Okay? So if you're like over there, we gotta make an adjustment over here. Maybe over there.
We got change.
I'm tone deaf, and I still like doing karaoke. Just to see the fucking faces on everyone's faces. Yeah, the faces on everyone's faces. When I get up there, I'm like, I don't know what song I'm gonna sing. I don't know what song I'm gonna sing, but I'm gonna sing one. And you might not like it, but I'm gonna like it, and I'm gonna sing the whole fucking shit, even if you don't like it. Maybe. This is not the right. Not the right Okay. Alright. I have a whole different thing with jokes. Awesome. Alright, maybe I have jokes in there. Yeah, you keep laughing because I'm gonna do something eventually. Ooh.
Yeah, no. Fly zone. So you want them first.
No fly zone.
Yeah, that's alright.
He said it correctly. No fly zone. Woo! Okay, I have jokes. Come on. Where the fuck are they? Alright, I'm gonna start off with my nicknames, okay? So, obviously, my name is Ramsey. You can call me Rambo, Ramrod, Ramsey God, Dodge, like Dodge Ram, like Dodge Ram, hell yeah.
I guess the
Bam Bam, Ramzilla, Ram a lot harder, which is my porn star name. Yeah, Ram a lot harder. Ram a lot harder.
right.
Piglet. My brother used to call me Piglet because I used to be smaller than him, and I was like, Piglet.
How do you feel? Be honest with you.
My grass juice name is Faceplant because one time I was at grass juice. Okay, I took a bunch of mushrooms. Okay, I didn't tell anyone about me taking a bunch of mushrooms. Okay, so I was in this tent. I was rolling a blunt. Eventually, like they caught on because I went out of the tent. I licked the blunt wrap, stuck it to my chest, and I walked around for like 3 hours. a good 3 hours without rolling the blunt. I just had the blunt leaf right on my chest. No one could find me for like 3 hours. I don't think you think this is funny, but I eventually rolled that blunt. I did. They didn't think I was gonna ever come back. They were like, oh my God, we're gonna roll the blunt without him. No leaf or anything. I was like, oh my God. I'm coming back. Yeah, Texas Rangers. I'm from Texas. They're called me Texas Rangers. Ramtron, Rambo, Ramchaz, Rampipe, Rambotron, and King Bradley.
Oh my God! Holy shit, that was amazing. That's the best thing I've ever done.
And I ran has lots of fun. Or at least that's what they said. And the cops came and so passed away. Alright, I found my jokes. Alright, so I was walking at a grocery store. I won't mention the names, but they set up for every holiday at least like 2-3 months away. And I know exactly why. Because us guys don't fucking know when the holiday is. We won't ever know. And even though we go to the grocery store all the time for you women, I'm sorry. They might have all the decorations up. Valentine's is coming up. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black Valentine's Month, right? Still won't buy you a fucking gift. Still won't buy you a fucking gift. Alright, so I recently got a DUI. And when I'm walking home at night, okay, so I'm thinking of nothing. But besides that, I won't have to pay another fucking $20,000 on top of not killing anyone. Because I didn't kill anyone in the first place. But I won't have to pay another $20,000. And
I play acoustic, but it's very 28.
yeah, no, that's it. That's it.
Looking forward to it. Keep it going for Ramsey. Dr. Pepper! Which is a Patton Oswalt reference that you may or may not get. We're wrapping things up. We're getting to our last couple of comics, so we're just going to keep things moving. Are you guys ready to transition into another gear? All right, our next comic, he looks like Guy Fawkes if he lived in a trailer park. Please give it up for Mr. Brian Ryland! Remember the 5th of November.
That's what I'm gonna find.
Literally said I looked like trailer park Guy Fawkes, and out of the audience I heard, I see it. Like not even like meanly, like, oh, I see you're trailer trashy. They literally, like, it blew their mind. They're like, oh, fuck. He really does look like Guy Fawkes from the trailer park. I'm gonna be honest right now, I had a really good set written down, but the amount of weed that came out of Ramsey's mouth got me super stoned. And I got nothing. I can't even remember half my jokes, so I'm just gonna try some of them.
Me neither, man. I know, and this is why I'm done telling you my jokes, Ramsey. I come to you, I give you my jokes, and like remember these for later. 7 minutes later, you're like, oh. No, that's more accurate. So, I had a really bad case of the reverse racisms back in the day. Really bad case of the reverse racism. So I saw a piece of loose leaf notebook paper on the ground, and instead of recycling it like an Ithacan, I crumpled it up in like white trash and threw it into the ground. Fucking hated it. I had a really bad temper as a kid, like pretty bad. I mean, I guess the best way to explain it is that once I, kindergarten, stabbed a kid in the eye with a crayon. He went colorblind. It was like it's a temper. It helps nobody. So obviously, being the size I am, I don't really like to get into like physical arguments. Like if I can avoid it, I don't want you to think I want to fight you. But every so often I get a little too drunk and it gets to the point to where I'm already like way deep into shit talking to where you can't get out of the fight. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I'll knock you out. Look at me. You don't believe that. None of you believe that. I won't knock him out. Doesn't matter what he is. It's not gonna happen. And so once I realize what you're realizing right now, in the middle of this argument, I start to try to like sidestep my way out of it. So I say shit. I've knocked this fucking thing around like 6 times. I'm gonna walk over here. Just sit down real lazily, because that's what the dope will do to you. So instead of I like how one old person looked at me like, what's the dope? What's the dope, sir? I don't know what the dope is. But so once I realized I was like in a fist fight argument, I was like, oh fuck, I gotta get out of this really quick. Because my face isn't pretty enough to deal with surgery. Like there's some people that can get their face fucked up, get surgery and be normal. And you're like, oh sweet, you look pretty. I don't have that option. If this gets fucked up any more so than it is, I'm just uglier. And it's not gonna help. So I thought real quick on my feet, I'm like, alright, turn everybody against this asshole. And he was in my face, and he's yelling at me, he's like, listen motherfucker, you gonna yell in my face, I'm gonna throw down. You gonna scream in my face, I'm gonna throw down. You scream in my face, I'll throw down. And the best move I had was baby scream in your face. You're just gonna throw a baby down? That's fucked up. And so then I yelled in the club, I was just like, this motherfucker's a baby thrower! Everyone immediately hated him. Everybody's just kicking this dude's ass. At one point, I saw this lady with her kid kicking him. I don't know why she was in the bar. She's a bad parent, but whatever. Against the story. Got this baby kicking this dude, and I'm pretty sure the baby said, me, the victor, you, the fetus. I assume babies love puns as much as the rest of us do. They're like the equivalent of those silly plastic keys, you know what I mean? Like, they're just as fun. They're just as fun. They're enjoyable. So I really feel bad for my girlfriend because she gets a lot of bullshit. When I get drunk, I have a really bad tendency to get real rap with it. So she'd be like, hey Brian, are you ready to leave the bar? I'm like, you ready? I'm ready to ride. You down to ride, bitch? And she's just like, what? I'm like, it's a DMX song. You down to ride, bitch? Ride or die. And after a while, she gets really tired of it. And she's just like, Brian, you don't have a license and or know how to drive. Are you down to ride, bitch? You down to ride? And it's really fucked up because then I have to switch. I gotta switch my tone. Nothing that I'm saying. I just switch my tone and I'm like, yeah, I'm down to ride. I'm gonna ride. Ready to ride. Down to ride. Ride or die, bitch! But she gets over it. But fuck. So I really like old school rap music. My favorite group consists of Ice-T, Ice Cube, and Lemon Wedge. It's called Delicious. It's great on a summer day. They got their album called Refreshing. So good. The one single you'll know is Do you have another song say? No? Not big into 1988 rap? I get it. So I saw a little person illegally crossing the street the other day and I was like, is that lowercase jaywalking? Is that like less of a ticket? Yo, Ramsey loves that joke!
I do.
That's my boy. Loves midgets. It's crazy. I was a little off script just of things I've dealt with today. I was at a bar a little early.